Alright, guys, let's talk about the Nevada State Athletic Commission and how they failed in the Kovalev Ward fight. How they left themselves open for criticism and conspiracy theories. I've looked into this, and they really not only do a bad job, but they always seem to mess up in big fights, don't they? If I am a fighter, I know Las Vegas is the fight capital of the world. Lots of money. But they keep screwing up. They screwed up with Pacquiao, Bradley won. CJ Ross. They screwed up in the Mayweather Canelo fight, majority decision. CJ Ross again scoring that fight a draw. And then last weekend we had this bullshit Andre Ward unanimous decision. And a fight that seems to be 80-20 Kovalev winning, with the 20% being African Americans thinking that Ward won a fight like 97% of that 20%. Okay. Now, like I said, I've looked into this, and they keep failing. And if I was a fighter, I wouldn't want to fight there. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay. Now, them along with the sanctioning bodies. Okay, sanctioning bodies in this fight was the IBF, the WBA, and the WBO. Okay. They appointed 3 American judges. Okay. Byrd Clements of Nevada, Glenn Trowbridge of Nevada, and John McKay of New York. Okay. The referee was Robert Byrd of Nevada. Okay. Now, I know these commissions often like to use their own guys. Whether that's familiarity or, cost-saving benefits. I know a lot of these commissions like to use their own guys. But in the long run, it's not worth it. Because when you keep having these black eyes like this, people can look and they say, hey, what was up with that decision? Why was it 3 American judges? Why was it an American referee? You're putting yourself in a bad position when there's a questionable outcome. Okay? So, as I said in my last video, it should have been international officials. It should have had judges from different countries, each one from a different country. None from America, none from Russia. Okay? Matter of fact, it'd be best if it weren't close to either one. Okay? And the referee from a different country. It would have been worth it. Okay? It would have came up as a fair, even playing field. No bias either way. Okay? So, in that way, they failed. Okay? Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which nobody talks about, nobody brings up, but I'm going to bring it up. Now, before I get into this, I have no evidence of any wrongdoing from these people. I don't know these people. But I'm saying this as a possibility because while we don't know that they didn't do anything wrong, we don't know if they did do something wrong. Okay? And as the commission, you should have these types of things in mind. Okay? And that's what I'm doing this video, to point out their flaws, their mistakes, and how they could leave themselves open to criticism and conspiracy theories. Okay? Now, the big elephant in the room is gambling. Okay? Full disclosure. I'm a gambler. I gamble on sports. Okay. Now, before I gamble on sports, you know, this wasn't even, I never thought about things like this. But as somebody that's in this game, you know, I can't help but think about it, especially when I understand the odds and how these things work. Okay. Now, going into this fight, the odds for this fight were even in the beginning. They were close. I mean, I think they opened up at even odds. And then eventually, Ward became the slight favorite as people bet on Andre Ward. Okay. I waited. I said in my post-fight video, my prediction was Andre Ward was going to school Kovalev and was going to win by decision. I thought he was going to just outbox him, give him a boxing lesson. Okay. Now, I didn't place a wager on the money line of the fight, the even odds. I wanted to wait until the props came out, because the props, with the odds being so close, you were going to get better than even money on your return. Okay, on your profit. All right. Don't you know that when the props were released for this fight, okay, at my casino anyways, Andre Ward was a plus 130 to win by decision. Okay. Now, for people that don't gamble, what that means is plus 130. If you were to place a $100 wager on a plus 130, you profit $130. That's what you win. Plus, you get the $100 that you wagered. So you would cash out $230. Okay, $100 bet, you get $130 profit. You get the $100 that you wagered. You receive $230. Okay. Now, as soon as I saw that prop, I placed a wager. Okay. Why? Because, like I said, I felt Andre was going to school Kovalev. I felt that the only way he could win was by decision. I didn't think he was going to knock out Kovalev. And as number 2 pound fight in the world, as I had him at that time, I thought that's how he was going to win the fight. I thought he was going to win the fight. And I can get better than even money on those odds. I was all in. Okay. Now, if I'm saying that as, a gambler, I'm not in Nevada, and just think about it. Okay. Just think about it. Look at the scores of the fight. Okay. 114, 113, 1 point for Andre Ward across the board. Okay. Unanimous. Okay. In a fight where the scorecards range all over the place in this fight. Okay. From the public. You got some people having Kovalev winning by a landslide. My scorecard was 117, 114. I had 4 even rounds. Okay. I've seen some 115, 112 Kovalev. I've seen some people say 1 point for Kovalev. Some people say 1 point for Ward. Some people say draw. Now, how is it that out of all the people that watched the fight, okay, all the people that watched the fight, all the different scores I've heard and read about, how is it that the 3 judges at ringside scored a fight all the same way? 1 point for Andre Ward? Like, you know what that says to me? It says to me that, he really didn't win the fight, but we got to give it to him by 1 point, Why? Could it possibly be because of the gambling? Could be. It's a possibility. That's what I'm bringing up in this video. I don't feel he won the fight. It wasn't even close. And hell, I think Kovalev won the fight and he didn't even win it by 1 point. He won it by 3 points on my card. So, it's just hard, Kovalev gets the knockdown, he outlands him, and he still loses by a point. All three judges, 1 point for Andre Ward winning the fight. Okay. So, Ward wins by decision. Hell, at one point, I remember the unanimous decision prop was like plus 200. So again, if you wager 100, you get $200 profit, and then you get the $100 that you wagered. So that's $300 that you're getting back off that $100 investment. So just think about the gambling aspect of Andre Ward winning a decision. He was favored going into the fight. Like I said, I thought he was going to win the fight. I mean, it was a very tasty bet. It was a very tasty wager. He's not a knockout guy. He doesn't have, tons of knockouts on his record. So it was easy to deduce that he would win the fight by decision. Okay? So, I'm just saying, and these judges, they don't have to necessarily go to a sports book. Hell, I'm pretty sure they know people that could go to a sports book for them and, place a wager, put some money down. You a judge, that's a hell of a spot to be in, hell of a lot of influence. Now, again, I'm not saying that these people did anything wrong. I don't know these people. I don't know what they did or what they didn't do. But is it a possibility? Is it, beyond the pale to think that something like this could happen? No, it's not. And the commission should have had things like this in mind. Especially when the outcome was 114, 113, all three judges. I mean, I know when Michael Buffer said that, I was like, what? Like, I was like, and that was before he announced the winner. I'm like, damn, like all three scored the same way? Really? Man, it was suspect from jump when he said that. So, that's just something to consider, something to think about. Nobody's saying it. I don't know why. Maybe because it's not, a lot of gamblers out there talking about it, about the fighting the aspects, and maybe people are afraid of getting sued. But, hey, I'm gonna bring it up. Is it possible? It is possible, But we don't know what these people are doing and not doing. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, who they know and who they don't know. So, that's another way that they open themselves up. Now, of course, the commission couldn't, they can't police everybody. They could bring in people from out of the country, and hell, they could, bet on the fight themselves, or have somebody that they know place a wager. But the fight is in Nevada. You're in the Nevada Commission, and you have two judges from Nevada in a fight like this. If you're a Nevada judge, I'm pretty sure you know about Vegas. You know the ins and outs around Vegas. I'm just saying, you leave yourself open to this kind of criticism, these type of theories. Okay. Now, the last thing that they failed in is the referee that they chose for this fight, Robert Byrd. After the fight, I was hard on Robert Byrd in my post-fight. I said that, hey, this guy, I felt he was biased for Ward. I did. Like I said, there was a time or two when Ward would clinch and damn near tackle Kovalev, grab him by the legs and stuff, and then he'd get in between him and he'd look at Kovalev. He'd admonish Kovalev. He should have been giving Ward some stern warnings. If he was fair and impartial, he should have pulled Ward to the side and told him, hey, you got to stop this. You can't be doing this. You can't be doing that, Didn't happen. Okay, now I felt that Robert Byrd's a brother. You know, he's an older brother. You know, he was alive during MLK. He was alive during segregation. He was alive during civil rights movement and all these type of things. Okay, so I felt that it might be a part of him deep down that he is rooting for the brother, that would like to see the brother win. This is just my opinion. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just kind of wondering after the performance he gave in the fight, and after I saw him holding up Ward's hand and smiling, laughing with himself, I'm like, hey, maybe he did have a little soft spot in him for the brother. This brother been around for a long time. He done seen some shit. Whew. Okay, so what I did was I tried to research Robert Byrd's age. I tried to find out how old Robert Byrd is. And in this research, I didn't find out how old he was, but I found out something that just was like, wow. Like, I mean, if you team Kovalev, you got to do, but how do you allow this to happen? Okay. In my search, a box rec page for Robert Byrd popped up. Now, I'm pretty sure all you have to do to find it yourself is just type in Robert Byrd, and that's BYRD, and box rec. Just type it in the search engine, and it'll probably pop right up. He has a box rec page. Okay. Now, of course, now he's a resident of Nevada. He retired there. Guess where he lived and what he did for a living before moving to Nevada. According to his box rec page, Robert Byrd worked for the California Highway Patrol. Let me repeat. Robert Byrd worked for the California Highway Patrol for 34 years. Okay? Says it on his box rec page. I can't make this shit up. Now, why is that so shocking? Why is that so startling? Why is that did that have my jaw on the floor? Not only did Andre Ward have a brother for a referee, a brother that's that's seen bias for him, that's been around, that's seen some shit, might have a soft place in his heart for him, but he had a brother who is apparently from California, who lived and worked in California apparently for 34 years. Okay, the brother from California lived in California. I don't know if he lived there. I'm pretty sure he did. But he worked in California for 34 years. California Highway Patrol. He worked for the California Highway Patrol for 34 years. The same state that Andre Ward is from. So Andre Ward had not only a brother, but a California brother as the referee. A fellow California brother as the referee. Okay? Also, I don't know what he did for the California Highway Patrol, but in his 34 years working in California, in law enforcement, do you not think or not believe that he saw, heard, witnessed injustices going towards African Americans in California? I mean, think about it. He was probably working, I'm pretty sure he was working during the time of Rodney King, O.J. Simpson, the riots, all this stuff. This man was out there in California during that time. I'm pretty sure he was. I don't know that for a fact, but 34 years and he retired in Nevada now. I'm pretty sure he was working during that time. Whew, man. So he saw injustices. He's in his life, he has seen injustices, I'm pretty sure, in person, in his line of work, from a distance, with MLK, segregation, all these types of things that went on, civil rights movement. I'm pretty sure Robert Byrd is a proud, strong brother. And, he referenced, a brother in a fight going against this Russian dude. I mean, look, I'm sorry. Maybe Robert Byrd is on the up and up. Maybe Robert Byrd, maybe he really wasn't trying to be biased in the fight. My eyes saw different. I thought he was, kind of pro Ward in the fight myself. But let's say Robert Byrd was strongly against anything that I'm potentially bringing up and saying. Okay, let's say he was on the up and up. Still, as I'm saying in this video, the Nevada State Athletic Commission put themselves in a position to where somebody could get this info and say, hey, damn, they put that brother, a guy from California, in as the referee, Andre Ward from California, potential conflict of interest, black guy from California, both in the same ring against this white Russian dude, Is it not possible to say conspiracy or, to say, scratch your head and wonder, if something up with that? Combine that with, the officials that they chose, the judges that they chose from Nevada. Then you look at the scores. I'm sorry. You combine all these things together and it looks like a potential heist. It does. It looks like a potential heist. I'm sorry, but it does. And it has to be said. It has to be brought up. It has to be mentioned. This is the position that they put themselves in by appointing the people that they did. They really did. And if you're Kathy Duva, how do you allow this to happen? If you're Sergey's manager, Igis Klimas, I think I'm saying that right, John David Jackson, how do you allow this to happen? Kathy Duva, she should know the background of these people. I'm sorry, she should not, you don't easily accept this. You need to know these people. She's been around these people. She ought to know Robert Byrd's history. If she don't, then shame on her. It is her job to know the ins and outs of these promotions, to know these people that's involved, know as much about these people as you can. It looks like he could have had a ref advantage. I'm sorry. California, black guys from California. I mean, man, nobody's talking about this. Nobody's brought this up. I found this out on my own, wow, it's just shocking to me. And the commission, they have to do better. Like I said, if I was a fighter, I wouldn't want to fight there, but man, they have to do better. This is this is bad. This really is bad.